Epic Flugel has just came, and we have had this electrifying, as it has been described, teaser towards a Fire Haven Epic Wubbox. So today we are breaking down everything that you guys can expect about Fire Haven Epic Wubbox, because yes, this guy is about to ignite our hearts of yes. Oh boy, I'm having a lot of flashbacks towards what this pose is going to be like that I'm putting on screen right now. So first of all, let's take a look at the teaser that we did get. So inside of the new Feast-Ember trailer, we got revealed towards these new wooden ornamental horns. This Wubbox, this epic Wubbox, as it has been revealed here, it takes on such an ornamental appearance and honestly conflicts with the fan-made ideas and the ideas that we did expect from a Fire Haven Kayna Epic Wubbox. But you can definitely see that this is definitely themed to be Epic Wubbox. If you look in the side of the teaser, you can hear Rare Wubbox playing really loudly in the background. We see what you are doing right there. And also, obviously, it's Feast-Ember, Fire Haven's events. So they are going to be taking the opportune time to release the opportune Wubbox to release at the time. Now, if we head over to the login screen as well, we get a bit more of a look at what this monster could look like. Now, I will admit, they have done their darn hard. They have done so hard here. They have been so hard, okay, to not reveal what was already revealed inside of the trailer. Honestly, not too much of a greater preview at what this could look like. There's some kind of orb I noticed towards the right of Candelabra's arms. The main aspect that I took away from this, though, was that it seems like it's almost box-shaped, this, and that this could, in fact, be the dormant form, judging from the shape behind Candelabra. If we go back on over to that trailer teaser, you can see an eye at the bottom there. So it definitely is going to be involved with the design, but the loading screen suggests that it could even be involved with the dormant state. Now, speaking about the loading screen, if we go on towards the bottom of the loading screen, lots of people have been pointing this out to me. We can see a little fin there representing, yes, the Bone Island Titan. So I am going to be talking about that later, but let's continue with our Fire Haven Epic Wubbox theories now. As we mentioned, these arms, they are very much based on wooden elements. Mahogany, walnut, wood hued, it looks like, and bejeweled. Those elements, those crystals that you can see arising from it, those are very likely to help us distinguish what this Wubbox is going to be like, especially with its sounds that we are going to be predicting about right now. But the thing that honestly reminds me of most, this design that we have seen so far, is actually Uxas's Magical Sanctum Epic Wubbox. There is so much comparison, I feel like, these days towards the fan-made ones, because they are so good. It's hard not to do it, man. And honestly, I see for that reason why they chose to go ahead and make this design up in the first place the way that they have. It conflicts so heavily with what I would have expected, and it makes up this quite distinctive appearance and likely sounds that honestly will be hard to even describe to these counterparts that we have already seen. So I do love the game for that, because it always makes sure to go on its own stride and do its own thing, which we do love. Now, these horns, they are very similar towards Plant Island Epic Wubbox. Horrifyingly so. Horrifyingly? Immensely so. I don't know where horrifyingly came from. The comparison here is honestly quite surprising. The fact that they have chosen to go down this side again when we've already got a wooden percussion monster with Epic Wubbox already with the Plant Island variant is very peculiar to me how they've chosen to go about it with this one. Now, this goes against every single popular fan theory that I've ever seen. If you guys have seen the fan theories, they are always based around a furnace, raw zebras. All of them. Every single one ever, and then the actual official one is nothing like it. I mean, it always happens. It's just kind of funny how the designs always conflict so heavily, but I feel like this, again, like I was saying, it's definitely going to stake it in its stride. Every single Epic Wubbox that we have encountered so far, it has been so infused with the individual element behind the island, and in this case, we have fire. And if we're talking about fire, I actually find that wood, it contrasts with the element of fire so heavily, and that therefore already iterates that this design is going to be very special and unlike anything that we've seen before. But specifically when I'm looking at the design, I see it being been thin towards the Dawn of Fire and the Golden Era lore. The Golden Era is the time that the Dawn of Fire took in. You can really see that, especially when you compare this design to, and this is where it really comes in, Rare Kayna. The similarities to this and Rare Kayna, to me, honestly, are a bit unparalleled. Some people might be going, what? But it's just the way that the design is feigned, and you can see quite clearly that the Dawn of Fire lore is meant to be edged through it. And oh my goodness, this is so good, because this iterates that this design is going to be themed around the Fire Haven lore. Fire Haven, all of its lore, the living core, the Dawn of Fire itself, it's got so much lore intertwined with it. And linking back to that Rare Kayna connection that I was on about as well, Rare Kayna was actually the first of all Kaynas and is clarified to be one of the most ancient monsters in the game. Considering that the element of fire was apparently birthed and came to life from Rare Kayna, the resemblance to Rare Kayna could iterate that this Epic Wubbox might be infused with fire in some way. So even though we have the wooden elements and carved on this design, I do expect that fire element to still come through. And I think Rare Kayna's link definitely reiterates on this fact, especially the ancient lore as well. It's just gonna be awesome. We're gonna be going over some fan-made lore at the end, so make sure to keep watching for that. But as for the sounds, let's go over the sounds. I'm sure you guys are really excited behind that. So the sounds that we predicted before, I feel like this design, it conflicts with it quite heavily. We've got a bejeweled, lore resemblant monster here that we've seen now, and the design, they are so infused with the Epic Wubbox's tracks themselves that it makes sense that this design, we should think upon that now and think how this could affect the sounds themselves compared to our previous theories. Now, the percussion part, the first track, right, what we usually get, and then the second track is usually a vocal, but specifically the percussion part I see being very intertwined into the bejeweled sections behind this monster. Particularly when Flower plays at the beginning there, when I was saying it's going to have a track with Bazinga in that moment, I feel like the ending of Flower's melody is definitely going to captivate on that. I feel like the jewels and build up in a sense, almost like the Sanctum Wubbox does. It gives off that tension that Uxas has made. Going back to our theories though, in case you've not watched, we will have a quick recap here. So I went over the fact that it could have a Bazinga track, a track in the ending, and then also a track in a new, completely new verse. Make sure to go and watch my theories over here for more on what you guys can expect from Epic Wubbox, as well as I went into the new verse and the kind of tracks you can expect a lot more in depth over there. But the main question that I have now from the teaser that we have seen, we've got these jewel parts, is just what is the main part of this design going to be? I just still don't feel like we have seen it as of yet. The jewels, sure, it's cool, but I'm waiting for that main aspect behind it that will really show us what this sound is going to be like. We had initially, when we were speculating, a furnace. That was the one which was everywhere, and honestly, it is shocking to me that the furnace idea is not being used. We had a stove, and then we had the campfire as well. And I was saying campfire, nah, the furnace is too much of a good opportunity, too many cool, awesome effects. And guess what? We got the campfire. It looks like, all right. But I'm actually quite surprised by this, but also the resemblances to the lore. I love it in its own way, man. It is really cool. The Fire Haven song, though, going back to this idea of the furnace just being so befitting, the song, it lends itself, I find, to the aspect of having a fire sound so much, though. You can literally imagine it, especially when you're listening to Raw Zebra and Licoad's fan-made. It just shows so well that fire can be used so effectively within this song. It makes you feel as though you just need this aspect of fire, especially seeing as though this is supposed to be the Fire Haven Epic Wubbox. Fine, we've got all of these elements that are always incorporated, the main ones usually from each island, but even if this design isn't necessarily the most fire-orientated design compared to what we were expecting, I feel like fire still needs to be involved in somewhere. I feel like that would be so much appreciated. Sure, these wooden elements are going to make it much more distinct, but the fire element is just such a good idea that I really hope that they do captivate on it, as Fire Haven over Fire Oasis is the song to do so. My predictions, honestly, besides all of this I have mentioned, remain the same for the most part. I am mainly intrigued in this main aspect. It's likely to be a campfire now in the center with these wooden elements, which just, wow, wow. The design, though, let's talk about the design a bit more. So we got the top section of this above the eyes, but what is the lower body going to look like in this moment? Well, I'm expecting the jewels, as they're likely to tie to themselves, actually be found across more components amongst the design. Maybe part of the body, the lower limbs and arms in some way. We could have some jewels on there as well to encapsulate the jewel feeling much more and maybe give a bit more of an effect there. But going back to that Rare Kayna connection, I would love some engravings like to what Rare Kayna had along its arms and its feet. Some really cool engravings to also show its resemblance to the element of fire, as we still do need that in some form, and I feel like this might be the best way to do it, man. But now let's have a look at some fan made by you guys. So the first one, oh my goodness, when I was looking at these, I was like, oh my god, this is already cooler than my theories. I feel like it's so hard to know now because it's such a different approach to what my brain is expecting, and it feels like it's a bit overloaded at this point. But Nomeo375 has come up with a design here. They've made it almost lava-like. I don't see these lava elements as much now coming through on the actual official design when we get it. I love this so much. I really do hope that your stove in the center of it, what you've got going on there, lights up in some way. I love that, man. I love the feet, and the onyx like crystals coming from the arms are so splendid. I want to know, what is the bead-like thing coming from it? I was looking at that and I was like, that's that goofy trait that I like and love. And then we also have this design by Guinami. Guinami, oh my goodness, you have the thermometers from the Amber Island Crucible on here. I was geeking out at that. I was so flabbergasted when I first saw this. We have the mouth and we have candles coming from the eyes. I love that element, and honestly, it feels a lot more creative than what it looked like inside of the teaser, specifically for the eye sections, especially the darker tones of this really suits the Fire Haven sky and would help give that resemblance to the island, unlike maybe anything what I've ever seen before for this design. I love the flamethrowers at the back as well. I love that. You guys know I wanted that flamethrower. That would still make my day if we still got that flamethrower. For the lore, though, this is the most hype thing, yo. With its suggestive lore appearance, it's clearly meant to be to do with the Dawn of Fire from what I've seen, right? There's clearly some very big lore here that is going to be revealed, but I would love a connection, therefore, to Dulcetta, the Fire Island Colossal, and the Epic Wubbox. That just seems like the ultimate perfect fit to me. The Wubboxes that were built for the Colossals, and Dulcetta has this unique ability as well. It's able to split its soul into multiple lands, so we have it in the Fire Oasis, Fire Haven, and Amber Island Colossals, but it's just the same Colossal Dulcetta. I love this! So here's my fan-made lore. Yes, I had to make fan-made lore. I've got obsessed with this idea. As the cataclysm happened and mass disruption, teleportation energy, as we know, that's what's caused the cataclysm, spiraled around the continent. Some of it made its way inside of the living core. Well, in deep underground, the energy circled around one of the dormant Wubboxes and began to activate it. This Wubbox, it was very special because it was an epic Wubbox, the Fire Haven Epic Wubbox. So although it was an accidental awakening during the cataclysm, though, it proved very timely. With the ongoing events that were happening, Dulcetta, the Fire Colossal, it asked the Epic Wubbox to aid the fire monsters. The poor fire monsters, the poor souls, having come inside to try and escape the cataclysm inside the living core, they found themselves about to be buried in the volcano for good, with all of the falling debris from the cataclysm. All around, the fire elementals cowered in fear as they watched their refuge begin to tumble. Dulcetta, assuring the Epic Wubbox that its secret power of being able to split its soul would keep it alive, it asked the Wubbox instead to focus its energy and powers into stabilizing the falling living core to save the fire monsters. The Haven Epic Wubbox, utilizing its wooden powers, shaped the living core into a more stable form to withstand the cataclysm. It also began constructing a fire landmass, which became Fire Haven for the monsters, and then eventually for Dulceta to imbue itself into. Having revealed its power, Epic Wubbox continually acted as a beacon, using its lights, illuminating the way for Dulceta to travel to imbue itself into the Amber and Oasis Island counterparts when those islands were found by the monsters. To this day, the Underground and Fire Haven depths would not be what they are if not for the collaboration between Dulceta and Epic Wubbox. Upon questioning Dulceta about their unique soul-splitting powers, Epic Wubbox claims Dulceta stone-facedly, in other words, like, gave an eye roll, and give it on about something to do with the binding magic of the trees. And that is totally not a phrase that we have heard before. I love this. I go quite in depth when I go with lore. I don't actually expect this much, but I like the story. I want it to be real. So let's pretend it is for now, for this video. No, it's not. I am so excited behind Fire Haven Epic Wubbox. I am really, really excited for this one. It looks like it's so different to what we would expect from it. It reminds me of like when Earth Island Epic Wubbox came, because that took on a really unique appearance compared to the more earthen take. Again, that ties to the Fire Haven one, like I said in my last theory video. But I'm just flabbergasted. I want to know how the jewels contribute. I have so many questions, but also I'm hyped. I'll see you guys on Wednesday though when it comes out. For now, bye. Editing MPG here. You thought that normal MPG was gonna end this video? Well, no. He get lost. Take that, recording MPG anyway. Because I am more wonderful than the normal MPG, I have decided to put on screen up next a prediction from ThatJacobbb and Guinami on Fire Haven Epic Wubbox. I've just gave it a listen myself off camera, and I was absolutely amazed by the sounds that they put together, and I told them as well if they managed to put this together in time, the two of them, before I recorded this, I would include it. So I have included it. You two have done a gorgeous job. So here you go. Go and have a listen here as well. And also make sure to go and check out their video as well.